And the question is, of course, what is happening outside? And we experience more and more that managing a complex supply chain via email becomes pretty cumbersome. So it's about having an unclear view and about, you don't know what you don't know. Let me give you an example of how we solve this for a company called Alphen. Alphen is a fast-growing company in the Netherlands, and they make charging equipment for electric vehicles. So pretty fast-moving business, stuff like this. And they actually had three pain points, which the first one is disruptions in their manufacturing process. So you can imagine you're making this equipment, and if you don't have one item, you cannot make the whole product. Pretty clear problem in supply chains. So as a result of bad communication with suppliers, one item was not there, they could not make the whole product. So that's one thing. Secondly, no insights in deliveries. So very difficult to know exactly what's actually coming in the factory today. So preventing to build up a lot of stock, of course, so you want to have the stuff just in time. But if you don't know that, you're taking all kind of suboptimal measures to change that. And third, enabling growth. So all these companies, they actually struggle with the fact that we want to grow, but we don't want to double the amount of people working on the purchasing process. And if the purchasing process is unstructured and a lot of manual work, it's difficult to grow. So you need structure and standardization in your purchasing process. Now, how did we solve this with Alphen? It's actually based on 4 principles, which we very much believe in, and hopefully gives you something to think about. The first is share real-time data. It's a strange word, real, but it says real. Real-time data. Secondly, automate the happy flow. I'll come to that later. Focus only on the exceptions. And the last part, also include the human communication. It was said before, it's not about technical stuff, it's eventually about people collaborating together and making very nice products. To go through them one by one, share real-time data. This is about as soon as you know something, as the supply chain knows something, the rest of the supply chain should also have this data. So not days or hours in between, or even weeks, before party A knows what party B already knows. So what we do is, as soon as a purchase order is released, it's sent immediately to the supplier. And secondly, if the supplier confirms an order, it's immediately processed. So there should be any delay in time anymore in the whole supply chain. Now, eventually, the whole supply chain has the same date at the same moment always. So, okay, that's the whole idea. Secondly, about automating the happy flow. It means that if you order something at a supplier and the supplier confirms exactly what you asked for, that is something you don't want to look at anymore. So if something is right, it should be, and it can be, fully automated. That's the second principle. We don't want to look at the happy flow anymore. We don't want to look at stuff that's going well. We want to focus on the exceptions. So what we did for Alphen to make very visible the exceptions in their purchasing process, which means that a supplier confirms a week later, for instance, than you asked for. That is an exception that you want to see, you want to act upon. And the purchasing department is already very busy with all these orders, and with a tool like this, they can focus more on higher quality work and really focus on the exceptions, on where something might go wrong. And the last part is central and what we call in-context communication. We used to have EDI with sending all kinds of messages forward, but if there was an exception in the EDI, you still had to make a phone call or to email this supplier to solve it. So, we actually try to look from the other way. We want to look at the exceptions because that's what really hurts and where, which might turn expensive. So we also included this human-to-human communication in our product. And so people can talk to each other about a certain order, and it's always logged with this order information, so not hidden anymore in any email boxes or whatever. So everybody looks at the same information, also sees the human-to-human information, and can easily find back what happened 3 months ago or something. So that's what we do in a nutshell. The result of what we achieved is less disruptions in manufacturing, So by sharing real-time data, having a better communication with suppliers, the reliability goes up, so they have less disruptions, so they better know what's coming in. Secondly, zero-touch order handling, which means that they only look at the exceptions, and eventually, I think, 99% of the purchasing process can be done by computer as well. Yeah, just share all your data with your suppliers, and why should you do actually anything? They should just deliver to what you need. And now we have started with that. And last, enabling growth, which means that what we do gives structure and provides room to grow. So these people on the purchasing department, they can focus on the exceptions, they can focus on improvements, and not just on retyping data from system A to B. Last slide. Yeah, that's what we do, and we do this for I think very nice manufacturing companies in the Netherlands, making quality products. This is what we purely focus on, and our product is a standard cloud solution specifically for this market. And I'm happy to tell you more about it in our booth or at a later moment. Thank you.